suspended and he went to this undisclosed place that we now know as Cabo. That we now know as Cabo. We didn't hear anything about Zeke.
Nope.
We heard nothing. So that lets me know that he was seriously trying to refocus and lock in on, number one, who he is, his work ethic, him getting in shape, obviously. He looks great, and bettering himself so that he can help his team when he has the opportunity to, and he does this week. So I like and I'm buying everything that I'm seeing right now. I think he's in a much better situation when we look at guys returning like an Aaron Rodgers, because he was not injured. There was no health issue. He went into this training with the mindset, you know what, this is an opportunity I can take advantage of, not I have to sit out and then rebuild something. So he got his body in better shape. He physically looks really fit. He wasn't not performing great when he left. So I think when it comes to him coming back, when we look at guys being rusty, all it is a matter of him getting carries. And I don't think it'll be a problem for Dak Prescott and that Dallas Cowboy offensive line to turn around and say, hey, Zeke, welcome back. Let's go. So I'm excited for what I'm going to see out of Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm gonna take the approach to wait and see. It doesn't matter what I believe, it matters what he shows me. And this is what we know, Skip, you can attest to this. You know one thing about bodies. Body shows discipline and dedication. There are some guys that are just genetically gifted. They just roll out of bed. But that takes dedication.
It does.
That takes discipline to do something to look like that. So it shows me that he was focused. Now, the thing is that you're going to worry about he hasn't been doing football. Nothing gets you in shape like carrying the football.
Without question.
Catching the football, having shoulder pads on. So he's going to be a little winded early. The thing that I worry about, a guy coming back playing a skill position, is hamstring, groin, calves, because you're going to start to exert a lot more. They ask you, you fresh? You're like, well, you fresh? Well, it's just like a quarterback. If you throw too much early, you get that soreness. You don't want to have him to tweak something and he's coming back. But they need him because they need to win. They know if they lose either one of these last two games, Skip, it's over. They're not going to the playoffs. They need to be 10-6, and as you said, hope for something good. But I'm glad. I agree with you, Greg. I didn't hear anything about him. No matter, I didn't know where he was until ED came on here and said he was down in Cabo. Skip, and I was thinking he in Europe somewhere. Well, hopefully he wasn't training with the Russians or anything like that. But he was over in Europe. That's what I was thinking. But I didn't hear about Zeke doing and getting anything. TMZ couldn't find him.
No.
The tabloid, the Inquirer couldn't find him. So he kept a low profile. Hey, but I tell you what, he told the hotel manager, he said, keep my room ready, have me a nice plate of wings because I'll be back in 3 weeks because my season will be over.
You don't look like that eating wings.
No, but I'm saying he won't need to look like that in 3 weeks because their season be over. He can go back to having some fun. Skip, you got to live a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think he's going back to Cabo San, Europe anytime soon. So you're right in the first thing you said. The wise approach here is to believe it when you see it or don't hear about it going forward.
Correct.
Once he gets back to Sin City, that can be Dallas, Texas, because it is. For Dallas Cowboys, it's a rough place.
They worship the stars down there, Skip.
Do they? I lived there for whatever it was, 16 years. Everybody wants to see and be seen with the hottest Dallas Cowboy, and they're willing to give you whatever you want to come to their party and be in their group, and you know what happens. But I am shocked, seriously shocked, that he took this approach during this 6 weeks. It showed me that I think he is prioritizing football over nightlife because this kid loves the nightlife, or I hope it's past tense, but I doubt it is. But he loved the nightlife. I've talked to several people around him who were so concerned that he's having alcohol issues that are leading to incident after incident because he couldn't handle his alcohol. And they wanted him to dry out during the 6 weeks. And he did not do that because our man Eric Dickerson was requested to come down by the agent to impart some words of wisdom to Zeke, which I thought was another really good sign. But they did have drinks and dinner, so he's still drinking alcohol, which is fine with me. Got no problem with that as long as you can handle it. Once you get back into the potential nightlife that is Dallas, Texas. But did he go back to Columbus, Ohio for his 6 weeks? No, nothing but trouble there for Zeke. Did he go back home to St. Louis? Could be trouble there. Nope. Did he hang around Dallas? Because we know he liked to go out on the boat in Dallas and this and that. Nope, he didn't do that. He stayed completely out of sight for most of 6 weeks until Eric Dickerson sat here and said, guess who I saw? Guess who I hung out with in Cabo? Wow. He looks great. He sounds great. Eric's a smart guy. Eric is not easily led or BS'd. And he sat right there. I'm going to take it to my personal bank. Eric liked what he heard from the young man. Well, he's fooled some other people in his past. So now we wait and see. And it's what to your point, I don't want to hear about anything going forward, because what if we talked about Zeke? Jerry Jones has to keep his cell phone like under his pillow and hope it doesn't ring in the middle of the night, because that's what that's the path he's been on to date.
I think the thing for me, Skip, is that the best thing an athlete can do is know himself. Zeke know where the pitfalls are. The big trick is, or key is, to avoid those. He knows what's in Columbus, Ohio. He won a national championship there. He's a god there. He's legendary. Stay away from that. Dallas, you're one of the two biggest stars in Dallas currently. Stay away from there. I mean, obviously, your quarterback, Dak, Dak's the quarterback. They love their quarterbacks. And now, if Dak were to win a Super Bowl, only Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman would be bigger than Dak Prescott in Dallas if he were to win a Super Bowl. Quarterbacks are legendary in Dallas. Skip, know that about yourself. Avoid those places. I'm not saying don't go out, but you're going to have to set parameters around yourself and ask yourself. Because when we look at it, Zeke got a great opportunity. Would you say Zeke Elliott is more talented than Frank Gore? Frank Gore is a top 5 rusher all time in NFL history. Zeke, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. If somehow you in your career, you're not in the top 5 of rushing all time.
That's a good point. And I've been around Frank Gore enough to tell you, he is driven.
Yes!
He is 1,000% obsessed with maximizing his
And he got everything after what he's gone through, his family, his mom and dad, and the knee surgery that he gone through. And people don't realize how talented Frank Gore was. But Frank Gore had a Willis McGahee and Clinton Portis on the bench. And
He did.
What I love about this situation for Ezekiel Elliott is, number one, football was taken away from him. It was taken away from him for 6 weeks. Something that we all know he loves and adores. This means a lot to him. And I think one thing that means even more, that we weren't privy to seeing with his actions, is how he's interpreted by the media, his integrity, his character, all of those things. I think it now means more, because once he's labeled as one thing and he's saying, I did not do this. He's willing to sit down, do a documentary. I think this means a lot to him.
Absolutely.
To make sure that when moving forward, I can't put myself in these situations. So I'm buying it, because it's not my job to hold somebody to what they've done. I can remember what they've done, and look, moving forward, I can say he's making some changes. With what I'm seeing right now and what I have not heard, it lets me know he's willing to make changes and that he's already done the right things. The concern that you guys are having is he hasn't been in these environments.
He's going back.
He's going back. And I believe personally that because of what has transpired before, he does not want to be seen as what we have depicted him as, and what he's been labeled as. Regardless if he's been accused of it or not, this is a label and a tag that will be with him.
Right. Well, also past the label, as you mentioned, he had 6 games taken away from him.
Exactly.
And as a 22-year-old, that's impactful. So hopefully, going back, he'll learn a little bit more about who to trust
I did
and who to
bad
keep
things.
around him.
I just didn't do that.
Yeah, but what you said, like, we haven't heard anything. We didn't know where he was. The fact that it was quiet can tell you something about what's going on.
That's why I tell guys coming in, the name on the back is more important than the name on the front, because that name on the front might change. Guess
Without
what?
question.
He always gonna be Elliott.
Yep.
You can't change
Just
that.
as a note for the game, Jerry Jones just said on his radio show that Ty Smith is questionable against the Seahawks with a knee injury.
Skip. Skip, you know what that means. You know what that means, Skip. You know, the last time Ty Smith was questionable, you know what happened in the dome.
That meant Chaz Green, but maybe Byron Bell would be a little better.
Yeah. Greg, thanks for joining us. Where does Kobe rank all time?